We will start sitting. Thursday morning. Theme of rest for this month. Woohoo! Hands on knees. Sitting up nice and tall. Let's begin by breathing in and out through the nose, as long as your nose is clear for you to do that. If it's not, then breathe through your mouth, but just have your lips slightly apart, your teeth slightly apart. And allow yourself a moment to notice where you're starting from today. And slowly starting to circle your head so that you can feel what's going on in your neck this morning. Maybe it can even allow you to feel how you're doing down through your torso. And then changing direction. I just realised the screen is at a terrible angle. Okay, and then circling shoulders. Nice big slow circles. And elbows. And then arms. Placing your hands on your knees, circling your heart. Big, slow circles. And then changing direction. And coming up to centre, let's take a little twist. So left hand across to right knee, inhale as you sit up, and exhale as you rotate. And then keeping your left hand on your right knee, inhale as you reach your right arm up, and then look across to your left knee, and lean. And we're just exploring ways to create space in our body. So anything that feels pinchy is the opposite of creating space. So move away from that. You can adapt as you go. Inhale as you come up. And we'll switch sides. So right hand comes to left knee, left hand behind. Inhale as you sit up. And exhale as you rotate. And then inhale as you reach your left arm up. And exhale, take your gaze across to your right knee. And allow yourself to lean. And inhale as you come back up. And we'll walk our hands forward so we take a little fold. Oh, we've got a latecomer. You come into a forward fold there with your legs crossed. And then inhale as you come up. And take your hands around behind your back. And you might just take your fingers down to the floor, if that feels like, so it depends on your ratio of spine to arms. Maybe the hands come flat to the floor. Roll the shoulders back and inhale as you look up, lifting your chest. And then coming back to center. We're going to lie down on our backs. arms at your side. And without lifting your pelvis away from the floor, so the pelvis stays grounded, you're just going to gently rock forwards and back through your pelvis. Your arms might stay at your side. I'm actually going to lay mine on my tummy because that just helps me recognize what's going on through the whole of the torso as a result of the pelvis rocking forwards and back. So this is a subtle movement, it's not a big movement necessarily. And we're just trying to create some sense of balance in the pelvis. It's kind of where the movement begins for a lot of our movement. So if we're balancing left and right, top and bottom, it's kind of the pelvis that all originates from. And then pressing down through the right foot, let the hips just rock over to the left a little bit. So the left hip will come away from the floor. And then push down through the right foot to come back to center. And we'll do that 2 more times. And we'll do the same the other way, so pressing down through the right foot, the pelvis will rock across to the left. And then the left foot pushes down to bring you back to center. And then do the same across to the right. So you're pushing down through the left foot, but this time the knees will go the whole way down towards the floor. And come back to center. Press down through the right foot, going all the way over to the left. And we'll go again on each side. Then hug those knees in towards your chest, give them a squeeze. And let the left foot come down to the floor. And bring the right knee just above the hip. So the shin is relaxed, it's not at 90 degrees, it's relaxed. And we'll take tiny circles with our knee here. Tiny little circles. And then change direction. And we're just curious as to what the texture of that movement feels like. And then taking slightly larger circles, maybe dropping the left leg flat to the floor. Changing direction. And let the left hand come to meet the right knee as it comes across your body. And open your right arm out to the side. Here is a great place to take a deep exhale. And then coming back up to center, Straighten the right leg and just play around with pointing and flexing. Take the hands around the back of your leg and walk your hands up, bringing your forehead up to meet your shin. And take some nice breaths here. Be sure the left leg still stays anchored to the floor. It's not hanging or levitating in any way. And be quite experimental here. You want to explore how this feels. And we'll stay for a few more breaths. Let the muscles acclimatise to what we're doing. And then walk your hands down, drop the head down. Bend the right knee. Move the left heel in and take the ankle across. And then we can thread our hands around the back of the left thigh and rock from side to side. And then we'll release both feet to the floor, keeping the knees bent. And draw the left knee in, the right foot can stay grounded. And then release. And put the knee directly above the hip, have the shin just relaxed. And take some tiny circles here. So I've been doing some somatic training with a teacher called Helen McCabe, who's one of my dearest friends and an incredible yoga teacher. And this is the practice that she's been giving me to change direction. And I'm finding it's creating a huge sense of balance in my pelvis, so that's why we're exploring it. I think we did it earlier in the week as well. So just sharing with you what Helen's teaching me. Okay, and then dropping that right leg down and starting to take bigger circles. And then changing direction. We'll try to keep the pelvis quite level, you're not rocking all over the place. There is, of course, some movement. And then bring your right hand to your left knee as you guide it across your body and open up the left arm out to the side. And take some breaths. Then inhale as you come back to center. Straighten the leg and point and flex. Make sure the right leg stays grounded as you wrap your hands around the left leg. Then walk your way up towards your heel, bringing your forehead up. We'll pause for a few breaths here. And then lowering yourself down. Bend the right knee, take the left heel across, and thread your hands around the back. And rock from side to side. And then release, cross your ankles and rock your way up. And we'll take our legs straight out in front of us. If you've got a handy cushion, then always nice to have something underneath your sitting bones. You just kind of perch on the edge rather than being the whole way back on the cushion. And your toes are going to point upwards. Let's begin by taking hands down either side of your hips. Nice big backward shoulder roll to keep that front of your chest open. Press down through your fingers and let the pelvic floor lift from deep within. Excuse me. Listening out for the sound of your breath here. Oh, those sneezes. Inhale as you come up. And exhale as you fold. I think I'm going to bring my hands to my shins. But you can come either side of your legs. You can take hold of your feet. Just depends what's going on in your body today. And take a little wriggle here. I might have to grab a tissue. Just noticing what is, without getting tangled up in what you should be doing or how it should feel, how it should look. There's no attachment to whether this is a good or bad experience. It's just an open mind and a curious heart. Okay, inhaling as you come back up. Let's bring the right knee up. That's good to face you. So right knee is up. Let the knee drop out to the side. Sole of foot comes to inner thigh. Left toes pointing up. Janu Shirsasana, this pose is called. It's one of most people's favourites. Exhale as you come forwards. And we're just going to take this second half of our session today to do all the forward bends, forward folds that help us recognize what our hips are up to, so that we can be informed as to where we may be out of balance or in balance. Inhale as you come back up. Let's reach hands up high. It gives us that nice height through the torso. And then bring the knee up to center. Bring the knees together, toes pointing out behind us. So try not to have the toes pointing over to the side. Try to take them straight back. If you've got a cushion, just prop the sitting bone, the left sitting bone up. It usually feels much more forgiving. So this knee is the area that's the most sort of under threat with this pose. So if it is pinching, you can just do another Janu Shirsasana like we just did. But if it feels okay, and you feel steady enough, inhale as you sit up and exhale as you fold, walking your hands forwards. Maybe your hands come to your feet. But whichever option you're taking with this forward fold, let the breath be the guide. So the deeper the exhale, the more able you are to wriggle and explore, and the more satisfying that shape is going to be. And inhale as you come back up. Remove the cushion if you had one. And take that foot across. So the knees up in front of you. Then slide that heel back towards the opposite hip. So now your knees are stacked one on top of the other. And your left toes are pointing straight up. Let's inhale and reach our arms up. Get that height, keep that height. Remember Mula Bandha as you fold. And again, choose the position for your hands that feels good. And breathe. And inhale as you come back up. Release the legs. And we'll bring the left knee in. Let it tip out to the side, sole of foot to inner thigh. Toes of the right foot pointing upwards. So I'm really hoping that as we do this, you get some sense of the connectiveness. You know, inhale as you reach your arms up. Exhale as you fold. And the way that I can experience that is the fact that just moving the one leg in all these different ways completely changes what's going on in the spine and in the torso and the neck as well as in the legs. So for me, I've never found forward folds very easy, but they really show me just how connected each tiny subtle movement is for the rest of the body. There simply is no separation from toe to hip to neck and everything in between. Which is why if your hands are connected to your foot and you push the foot away and you pull the hands in, that really changes everything. This sort of relationship, this circular relationship that you're creating in this forward fold. Inhale as you come back up. Bring the knee up. And then bring the knees together. Possibly just hooking a cushion under your right sitting bone. Just look at your foot, check the toes aren't pointing over there. They're going straight back. And be honest with this knee. If it feels like this is too much, then we can change. You can change. Inhale, reach your arms up. Get that height, find the lift in the pelvic floor as you fold and come forwards. And acknowledge how the breath sort of changes and adapts around the shape that you're making. Inhale as you come back up. Let's remove that cushion. Bring the foot all the way across. Slide it back towards the right hip. See if you can line your knees up together. Toes pointing upwards. Inhale as you reach your arms up and exhale as you fold. Maybe the chin tucks in towards the chest a little bit more. It's so much more enjoyable to do a practice when you're not sort of beating yourself up about where you get to in the pose. It's just so much more joyful to be in that curious mind state, accepting what is, and then just breathing into it and feeling it. Tight muscles are just protection. They're just your body taking care of you. They're definitely not a failing, they're quite the opposite. The deeper you breathe, the more you inform your muscles that you're safe, and the more likely they are to allow you to lengthen. Inhale as you come up. That's what makes the breathing so powerful. Okay, releasing. We're going to keep legs straight out in front. Bring your hands behind, fingers pointing towards sitting bones. Roll the shoulders back. Point the toes. Bring the legs into the midline as you lift the hips and lift your gaze. Lift your heart. 5 breaths here. And then lowering down. Well done, everybody. Have the most glorious day today. And may our well-being practice be the well-being practice of the collective as well as the individual. Namaste.